Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia. I hope you're well. Welcome to my December wrap up. Now I am going to be so honest with you. I haven't read much this month. December was just so busy, and this was my slowest reading month since March. All through 2025 my reading just seemed to get more and more. So for the first couple of months I only read 3 to 4 books. And then after April, it just kind of got a bit crazy and shot up to about 8 and never came back down until this month. So I moved house on the 28th of November. If you've not seen the sort of library recreation, I will link it for you guys. We moved house on the 28th of November, so I was obviously really busy with that. We had a week off work to try and get everything sort of organised, but it never fully gets finished, so we were still doing a lot of stuff sort of after that date. And then obviously Christmas, we both have very big families and a lot of Christmas plans with said families, so again it's just been a bit crazy and a bit hectic, but in the best way possible. So I just haven't really had time to read, and to be honest I haven't really wanted to pick up my books much either, if I'm completely honest with you guys. I just wanted to be present in my new home and, spend time with James and spend time with family. So I just haven't had much time to read. So I only picked up 5 books in the month of December. I did do a reading vlog for 3 of them that is never going to see the light of day because I hated it. I hated everything about it. That also went out the window. But I have read 5 books this month, so we will just go through them and I'll tell you a bit about them and my thoughts and feelings on them. So I'm going to stop waffling on at you and just jump straight into this. The first book that I picked up in the month of December was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I do feel like I went into this book with very sort of little expectations. I'd heard some great things about this book and I've heard some really bad reviews of this book, and I feel like people are either one way or the other. I've not seen many reviews just sort of saying this was okay, and you know what, I enjoyed this one. So this one is a single POV book, which I don't usually love, but this follows our main character Alice. Alice is a aspiring writer, she's, journalist, and in this book she has the opportunity to write about a lady called Margaret, who was sort of the wife of this really big popular musician at the time, and she just sort of disappeared for 20 years and has all of a sudden just sort of crept back out of the woodwork and asked for a journalist to come and write her story. So she gets pitted against another writer called Hayden, so it is a bit of a forced proximity sort of situation. So they are both brought to this teeny little town and both spending a lot of different time with this lady and both getting sort of little bits and bobs of this story that have signed NDAs so that they can't discuss it, and I just think it's so much fun. I do think this was a really fun little vibe. So we follow both of these authors trying to piece together this story. It is dual timeline, so we have one POV, we just have Alice's POV, but then we have the timeline of the current situation, and then also a timeline and chapters from the story that they're writing. I do think this one was fun. I thought it was really fun to see this sort of these two completely different lives unfold and how they react to certain things, and I thought this one was good fun. I really enjoyed watching sort of Alice and Hayden's relationship develop as well. I think that how their relationship came to be was really nice, and the third act conflict in this one was understandable, and a lot of third act conflicts annoy me and piss me off, and if it's just a miscommunication thing I understand, but they'd both signed NDAs and there were some issues that meant they couldn't discuss the problems they were having. So the third act conflict in this one was completely understandable, and I really enjoyed that and how that was resolved, and I just think all in all that this was quite a lovely story. I rated this 3.5 in the end. I didn't love it as much as I've loved some of her other books. I've read Funny Story and I've read Happy Place, and I really enjoyed those ones. This one I wouldn't say hit as hard as the other two, but I did still really enjoy this story and think that it was really nice, and how it all came together and how all the characters that we meet throughout the story all come together into this one picture at the end was really lovely, and I did enjoy this one. I then read 3 Christmas books. Like I said, I did do a reading vlog for these, but you will never see it, so I'll just tell you a bit about the books now. So the first Christmassy book that I read was Just a Taste by Anise Starr. Now I really enjoyed this one. So it follows our main character Noelle. Now Noelle is a private chef. She used to work in a restaurant and did these really funky menus, and one thing I do really like about this book is it goes through the menus that she's making as well, and I just spent this whole book oh yeah, I could eat that sounds amazing, that sounds so good. And I really liked that element of it. So Noelle then gets hired by this man named Alex. Now Alex was at one of her meals in a restaurant a while back and decided that he wants her as a personal chef. She's paid a very, very good wage to basically just come into his home and meal prep for him for the week, and then do that every week so that he's always got like easy, healthy meals. He owns this really big company, doesn't really have time to be cooking and making these different meals every week. So he pays our main character Noelle to come in and do that for him. Now, throughout the couple of years that she has worked for him, they've never really had much conversation. They don't really cross paths or anything like that. It's always his assistant that lets her in, things like that. And then he hires her to do the meal for a Christmas party for his company. Our main character Alex is a massive Grinch. Like, he hates Christmas. He doesn't understand what all the fuss is about. He won't watch Christmas films. He doesn't really want this Christmas meal, but has been like talked into it by one of his colleagues to try and like smooth out a rough patch in the business. So he's massively against sort of Christmas, and our main character Noelle is such a Christmas girly. Like, her family all have massive Christmas celebrations, and it's just a really like opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to Christmas. And basically what happens is she is brought in to do this meal for his company, and they end up actually getting snowed in. So like all the people coming for the meal leave, she's sort of tidied up, and this massive snowstorm hits, and she ends up snowed in his house for the Christmas period. Now, this book all takes place over like 4 or 5 days. It's a very short time frame, but so much happens, and I just think it's so fun just watching this sort of like cozy week of trying to get through this like 4 or 5 days with a stranger who hates Christmas when you absolutely love Christmas. And I do think it was a really fun setup. We do have a broken heater, so they have no heating during this time, so you know, we have a bit of a one bed situation, all that sort of stuff. I did rate this one 3 in the end. I really enjoyed it. I do think it was really good fun. It definitely has that sort of Christmassy vibe without being too in your face about Christmas. It's more just the conversations of like why he doesn't like it and things like that. And obviously we have Christmas during this book as well. I do think this one is a fun one, and one you should definitely pick up over the Christmas period. I then picked up Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. So I've never read anything by this author before either, so this was another new author for me. I know she writes a lot of like sport romance, but I've not read any of her sport romance yet. I have picked up recently the Icebreaker series. I think it's the Maple Hill series. So now that I've read some of her writing, I am looking forward to reading her sport romance as well. This one follows our main character Clara. Now, Clara's dad owns a massive toy company, one of the really big names in the toy industry. The company have some really bad press and are basically accused of stealing a toy design from this really small toy company in this really teeny town in the middle of nowhere. Now, that town is the town our main male character lives in, so it's where Jack lives. She basically gets sent over there as like you need to go over there, sort this out, get them to take all the videos down, and if you can do that, you'll get your promotion. So that's the sort of setup that we have. Now, I did really enjoy this setup. I do think it gave such lovely Christmassy vibes. I think especially because it was like toys and the toy industry, and it's just this really cute small town, and they have all these Christmas markets, and Clara really tries to help all these individual little town people and town businesses. She like goes through each person in the town and tries to like find a way to help them improve their business or to just help them in general, and I just think it's such a lovely little vibe. If you enjoyed Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, I do think this book gives very similar vibes. It has that sort of like girl from the really big town, really big name, and the guy from this really teeny town, and just like the contrast in their lives and things. And I just think it's such a lovely setup. So if you enjoyed that book, I do think you'll enjoy this one. It's just Part of Your World with a Christmas twist. And I loved that. I love that. I love the big girl from the big city coming into this teeny town, and I just think it's so much fun. So I rated this one 3.5 in the end as well. I would definitely say it sits on par with Just a Taste for just sort of like my thoughts and feelings on it. The third act conflict in this one did annoy me a little bit, but I do like how it was resolved and how that all sort of came back to normal. There's also a dog in this that I absolutely love. I have forgot the dog's name. I want to call him Buddy. And he is the cutest. I love that dog so much. I want that dog. I did enjoy this one. I think it's definitely good fun. And again, something I definitely recommend reading over the Christmas period. And the last Christmassy book that I read was Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. And I loved this book. Like, I don't know what B.K. Borison puts in her books, but I want to read them all. I need to read her entire backlist. I do own her entire backlist. And I can't wait to dive into more of her books because her writing is just incredible. There's just something about B.K. Borison's writing that just has me in a chokehold. I just love her books so much, and this one was no different. So this one follows our main character Harriet. Now, Harriet is this really sort of like happy-go-lucky girl. She has such a positive attitude. She works in this little antique store that her auntie passed down to her, And then we have our main male character, Nolan. Now, Nolan is the ghost of Christmas past. He is actually a ghost in this book as well, so we have that magical element in there. And Nolan gets assigned somebody every year, and he is assigned to that person until he can help them sort of remedy their sort of like bad habits and their past issues. I don't feel like I've explained that very well. So he basically has to help them resolve these problems before Christmas, where they'll then be passed on to the next ghost. And he is assigned to Harriet, and they all go through her past and her memories until they can find out a problem, and then they'll fix it and move on. And they're going through all her past memories, and he has no idea why he's been assigned to this really, really happy, lovely lady. And it's just so different for him. She hasn't got a clue what's going on, and it's just the banter in this book is so funny, and like the things that she does to him and him in return are brilliant. The spice in this book, again, so much fun, and I just loved it. It was such a good combination of so many different elements that I really enjoy, and you need to read this book. Just read anything by B.K. Borison, and you won't be disappointed. I just thought this was so much fun, and I really liked the ending. I thought it was really sweet, and like how it all got uncovered was just so much fun, and I love it. I love it so much. I really do love this book. So I highly, highly recommend this one. And I did actually rate this 5 stars in the end. I loved the vibe. It was just such a feel good, take your brain out sort of read. And it was just so much fun. And then the final book that I read in December was Dove by Paisley Hope. Now this actually doesn't come out until the 1st of January 2026. So we've got a couple of days. Well, by the time you're seeing this, actually, it will be out. But this is book 2 in the Soldiers of Bedlam series. Now, I read Wolf, which is book 1, ages and ages ago, and I absolutely devoured that book. I love an MC romance. I love how like spicy and dark they are. I also just love that there's always this amazing found family element, and how like they will literally kill to protect each other or die to save their family, and I love that vibe so much. I love an MC romance, and this one did not disappoint. So I've read the Silver Pines series by this author, which is a country romance series, and I absolutely love that, and this series is no different. Her writing style is incredible. The spicy scenes that she writes are amazing, and I love her writing so much. There's something like Paisley Hope is just such an amazing author, and I highly recommend this series. I would definitely check your trigger warnings for this one. It has definitely got some of the darker elements in there. I would say it's sort of like a dark MC romance, but when you read an MC romance, you have a bit of an idea of what you're getting. It's one of them things, but I think it's worth the read. I would say that book 1 was probably a little bit darker than book 2 in terms of like the romance, but there's definitely some elements of it in this one as well. But if you like an MC romance, then this one is one you definitely need to pick up. I don't know why I've not seen more people talking about this series. It is an incredible MC romance series. I've only read sort of like 2 or 3 different MC series anyway, but this one just hits everything I need it to hit. I just think that an MC romance is just so good. I just love that protective, like, found family aspect of it, and I just think that it is amazing. So I did actually end up rating this one 5 stars in the end. It definitely did not disappoint. It was exactly what I was hoping for from this series. So this one follows Layla and Sean, which is a couple that we actually meet in book 1. So this one is set before book 1. Both the main characters from book 1's best friends. So Layla is Brinley's friend from like when they were younger. So Layla sort of helps the character from book 1 into the MC life, and I just absolutely love it. So we see their relationship all through book 1, and it's really nice to go back and see how they came to be, because like the 2 characters in this are such polar opposite people, that seeing how that came to be this amazing romance in book 1, like going back and seeing that in book 2 was just so much fun. And I'm really looking forward to seeing like what else we get from this series, because I do think there's going to be a 3rd book. I don't know entirely how that's going to work, so I'm not entirely sure who book 3 is going to be about, but I'm really looking forward to getting more from this story, because I just think it's such a fun setup, and I just love an MC romance. If you've got any MC romance recommendations, then please leave them in the comments. I need some more MC romance, because I just love them. As you can see, both 1 and 2 have been a 5 star, so I need some more. I just love that setup. MC or Mafia or any of that sort of vibe, I just love it so much. They're the 5 books that I read in the month of December, so all in all I do think it was a pretty good reading month. We had a few sort of like 3.5 stars and 2 5-star reads as well, so it has been a really good reading month, even though I haven't read many books in the month of December. But all in all, I had a good month. It was super busy. We moved house, we had an amazing Christmas, we've had some amazing reads, and all in all I'm just very, very happy. Let me know what you read in the month of December, and if you would recommend those books or not. I always love hearing your guys' opinions. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, my Goodreads and my business email are all in the description bar below. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you're well. Take care.